Hi, this is Lindsay, and I'm going to talk about Cisco routers. Before you start setting up your router or anything, um, you want to make sure that you have a good internet connection. You have all the documents and even the important ones. They have like information about the default username and passwords that you will put in when you set up. And also, if your router comes with antennas, you will need to install them before you turn the power on. Installing Cisco routers. Okay, this is the physical installation of a router. You connect the LAN cables and the LAN ports. If using the external SCU/DSU, connect the router's serial interface to the CSU/DSU. Connect the CSU/DSU to the line from the telco. If using the internal CSU/DSU, connect the router's serial interface directly to the line from the telco. To configure the router, connect the console part of the console part to the PC using a rollover cable if needed. Connect the power cable from the power outlet to the router's power port. Power on the router. Connect the router to the internet. This picture shows a generic enterprise network diagram. These diagrams are designed to facilitate decisions upon layer 3 topics, displaying network subnet IDs, mask, and interface IP addresses in shorthand. The physical and data link details are minimized using the following conventions. Ethernet LAN represents a simple straight line implying one or more LAN switches without showing them. Ethernet WAN depicted as a straight line, often with a cloud over it, and an Ethernet interface identifier shown by the router G0-1-0 and G0-0-0, referring to gigabit Ethernet interfaces. Serial WAN illustrated by a line with a crooked part in the middle, a lightning bolt representing a typical point-to-point serial link. This figure shows what a router, the back of it, looks like, and the on and off switch, the USB, the RS-45, the RJ-45, and then it has a 2-port serial NIM. And enabling IPv4 support. Accessing the CLI. Accessing a router command line interface, that's what CLI stands for, is similar to accessing a switch. Cisco switches and routers share many of the same CLI navigation features and configuration commands for management features. Cisco enterprise routers need some configuration beyond the default setting to perform their primary function, routing IP packets. Accessing the CLI continuum. Most Cisco router interfaces are initially in disabled shutdown state and need to be enabled using a no shutdown interface subcommand. Cisco routers will not route IP packets in or out of an interface until an IP address and mask has been configured by default. No interfaces have an IP address and mask. Cisco routers will attempt to route IP packets for any interfaces that are in an up state and have an IP address mask assigned. To configure the address and mask, use an IP address mask interface subcommand. This is a picture of what the CLI terminal looks like. It'll come up with R1 hashtag, and then you type in configure terminal. And then these are the commands and the IP addresses, and then you type in the IP address and the mask, and then you type in no shutdown. And this is how you configure IP addresses and mask no shutdowns. Commands. Here's a list of commands that you will typically use when setting up a router interface, and then you type a number, and then that's a global command that moves the user into configuration mode of the name interface. IP address mask is a subcommand that sets router IP addresses and mask. No shutdown is an interface subcommand that enables no shutdown to disable the interface. Deluxe full half auto is an interface command that sets the deluxe or sets the use of IEEE for the router LAN interfaces that support multiple speeds. Speed 10, 100,000, and 1,000. Interface command for router gigabyte, 10, 100, or 1,000. Interfaces that set the speed at which the router interface sends and receives data. That seems like a very important one. Description text is an interface subcommand with which you can type a string of text to document information about a particular interface. Show interface, you type a number, list a large set of informational messages about each interface or about one specifically listed interface. The show IP interface brief lists a single line of information about each interface, including the IP address, the line and protocol status, and the method with which the address was configured. Manual or Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol, DHCP. Show protocols. You type a number. This lists information about the listed interfaces or all the interfaces if the interface is omitted, including the IP address, the mask, and the line protocol status. This is my reference, where I got my references from. Thank you for watching. This video is made by me, Lindsay Watkins. Thank you. Have a great day.